Najee Harris is one of the best running back prospects in the 2021 draft class. He will be a top 50 selection and could very well be the top running back selected, and rightfully so. He was a Heisman finalist in 2020 and improved his draft stock over the course of the season and will soon be financially compensated for doing so. But what is it that scouts and analysts love about Najee? Is he just another Alabama running back, or will he prove to be worth the high pick that an NFL franchise will surely spend on him? In today's video, we're going to break down everything Najee does well, and why NFL teams love him as a prospect, and why Najee will be a Pro Bowl running back. I made the title of the video, Najee Harris will be a Pro Bowl running back, and we can come back to this in a year or even a few years and laugh at this absurd opinion or give credit where it's due. But before we get started, please like the video and subscribe to the channel, as each only take a second to do and it would be very much appreciated. Now let's begin. Najee was a rare running back nowadays that spent all 4 years in college, and in his final year he had over 1,400 yards and an insane 26 rushing touchdowns with 30 total touchdowns. What is beneficial for NFL teams is Najee had just 188 carries combined in his first 2 years in college, and while it isn't necessarily great he stayed 4 years, it's not the worst thing for him either. He will be 23 at the start of his rookie season, which is old for an NFL prospect, but the wear and tear Najee has on his body is a lot less than what Jonathan Taylor had on his body entering his rookie year last year. Taylor had over 900 carries during his time at Wisconsin entering the draft, and not only that, but he had some fumbling problems, and we saw Taylor have an 1,100 yard, 11 touchdown rookie season. Jonathan is 5'9", 225, and Najee is 6'2", 230, and Najee is entering the NFL with a season's less of carries than what Jonathan had a year ago. Now, not to keep comparing Najee to Jonathan Taylor because their playing styles are vastly different, but the reason to compare is to show what Najee is capable of in his rookie year if an NFL team trusts him, which they should, and let him be a workhorse running back in year number 1, meaning 200 carries plus. With Najee, we have a player who has the work ethic and the body to sustain hits over the course of a season and to be a number 1 running back. Najee is 230 pounds, so it's not like he's a $185, and you have to worry about him by week 5 or week 6 if he can sustain a full 16-game season. And with a player like this, they have to have an always hungry mentality and a never satisfied type attitude towards football. With some guys, it's called the inner dog or the inner whatever, basically the mindset of a champion. And Najee was on the Pat McAfee show earlier this week, and I have a clip that shows why Najee will be a multiple-time Pro Bowl back in the NFL. Here is the clip.
And I love Conor McGregor, but one of his quotes for Conor McGregor is or one thing he always say is I'm not here to participate, I'm here to take over. So my mindset of going to the NFL is not to participate, to saying hey, look it, I made it to the NFL, all that stuff like that. I really am trying to dominate it, you know what I'm saying? Because I don't want to, like I said, I don't like this participating stuff. Like I said, me coming to Alabama in my freshman year and to go up against Minka and everybody like that, I don't want to just say, oh, I played against them. I want to show them, I want to dominate against them. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that's my mindset of entering the league. You know what I'm saying? So.
With Najee, we have a player who is clearly always hungry, and it showed during his final 2 years at Alabama. When a player is as physically and as athletically gifted as Najee has that mentality, there is simply no way he's not a successful NFL player. This is half the battle with prospects that NFL teams face, is whether a guy is serious or whether, and this happens because a lot of the time players come from not great situations, and front offices have to determine whether a guy is trying to get money for his family or if he truly loves the game of football. No judgments to be clear, but these are real things NFL front offices have to determine, and we've seen that with major draft busts like Jamarcus Russell and Ryan Leaf. They took the money and walked, and the same thing goes with Albert Haynesworth in free agency. But the point is, Najee is physically gifted more than 90% of NFL players, and at 6'2", 230, my guess a 40 under 4.45 or right in that area. Now, speed isn't Najee's biggest strength, to be clear, but when he can run through people and have a mentality of let's go again, you don't need top-end speed, and we've seen that with a player like Marshawn Lynch. So when discussing Najee, you have to start with his most iconic play, or at minimum, one of the most iconic plays from his senior year. He took the handoff in shotgun, went around the right side, hurdled a man mid-stride while keeping speed, and took off for another 40 yards like nothing happened, and the hurdle was completely normal, and he fully expected that to happen. So when discussing Najee Harris, you have to ask this question, more so regarding that play. How many running backs at 230 pounds or more have the ability to make that play. Of course, Saquon's listed at 230 pounds. Derrick Henry is, as we know, is well above 230 pounds. But Saquon makes that play more than likely. Derrick Henry does not. Now, Derrick probably throws him in the next week. But the point is there's not many running backs above 230 pounds making that play with that type of explosiveness that we see with Najee Harris. And what I'm saying in this video, in this breakdown, is Najee does so many good things that when you look at the negative things or the negative traits, it's few and far between. Sometimes we see bigger backs have trouble catching the football, and we generally refer to these players as two-down backs, but in his final 2 years at Alabama, Najee had 70 catches for over 700 yards and 11 touchdowns, and had over 34 scrimmage yards in 2019 and 2020 combined. So I bring this up to show how good Najee is, not to say he will have the same success as he did in his rookie year as Saquon, but when Saquon came out of Penn State, there were very few negatives to his game, and it is the same with Najee. One scouting report for Harris said, he's a strong runner but not overwhelmingly physical, and while that is true because there aren't a lot of runs where Najee truly just runs a man over, that's nitpicking just to nitpick, and it was the same with Saquon coming out of Penn State in 2018. A lot of his negative comments were, you'd like to see more power for a guy that's 230 pounds, but in his case it didn't matter because he was a 230-pound Barry Sanders. Now, Najee obviously isn't that good of a prospect, and he won't be a top 3 pick the way Saquon was, but he will be a consistent 1,000-yard NFL back and will be a multiple-time Pro Bowler. Now, I say this as respectfully as I can because teams will always need pass rush, but there is 100% going to be a team in the first round that will draft a pass rusher that will become a bust over Najee, and whether they regret that or not is to be determined because in theory, if the Vikings or Saints drafted a pass rusher that became a bust, it wouldn't really matter to them if they passed on Najee specifically because of them already having Dalvin Cook and Alvin Kamara. But what I am saying is someone at the tail end of the first round or the top of the second round will get a steal of a running back for at least the next half decade, and by the way, whenever videos like these are made, this is always assuming they stay healthy, because nobody can predict a severe injury if it were to happen, nor does a human being wish that on another human being. But somebody will take a player like Gregory Rousseau, Kwity Paye, Patrick Jones, or Joseph Asai, and more than likely be disappointed with the results they get out of one of those pass rushers. Those guys are good prospects, but the likelihood of all 4 of those guys becoming 12 to 15 sack players at some point in their career is low, and the likelihood at least one of them is a draft bust is far more likely to happen than all 4 becoming future All-Pros or multiple-time Pro Bowlers. So somebody will surely take a pass rushing prospect over Najee, largely due to positional value, and will be disappointed with the results. As for teams Najee could go to, I would absolutely love him to go to the Buffalo Bills at the end of round 1, as if he goes there, then that offense would be complete. Josh Allen, Stephon Diggs, Cole Beasley, Dawson Knox, and throwing Najee into that mix would be awesome, and they would be a very hard offense to stop, really to say the least. Another landing spot I love is Miami, as it's no secret they need a running back, and this, of course, would be assuming they take a receiver at number 3 overall. Now, unintentionally, it would bring Tua and Najee back together, reuniting from their Alabama days, but the Dolphins need a running back, and that is for sure. Pittsburgh is also an underrated landing spot for Najee, as their running backs aren't great, but it should be noted the offensive line they had this year wasn't good either. And if James Conner doesn't come back in free agency, I don't think Benny Snell and Anthony McFarland are the long-term solutions at the running back position for the Steelers. But the conclusion of today's video is Najee does everything well, has a great mentality to be a successful player at the next level, and has the physical and athletic ability to be that player. I really do feel bad for teams that pass on him and for teams that will draft players that don't pan out over him, because he is going to be a 1,000-yard back in his rookie year if he stays healthy, and if he has 200 carries, which he should. There's really no reason the team wouldn't give him that many carries. He is a great running back prospect and will soon make a team happy. He will fall to at least probably the end of round 1, barring something unforeseen, but this is a plug-and-play back that will do big things at the next level. Now, for some quick announcements, please like the video and subscribe to the channel if you enjoyed today's content. Also, I have a second channel that is in the description called Football Discussion, where I answer questions and have a lot of fun doing so. So if that is something you would enjoy, then go subscribe and post questions in the comments for a chance to be read in the next video and for me to answer them. I plan on doing multiple videos on that channel per week now that we have the face cam, and if you enjoyed today's video, which I hope you did, then I will see you next time. Please like and subscribe, it would mean the world, and I will talk to you guys real soon. Have a great day, love you guys, deuces, peace.